Okay. So we have 3 ideas in this whole unit. So you have to basically read the question and then you tell yourself which of the 3 strategies do I do. Okay, so we got simple interest formula, compound interest formula, or regular payments calculator. Those are our 3 ideas. Okay. So I'm going to let you read this, and we're going to say which one of 3 is it. So tell me, should we do simple, compound, or regular payments? Those are your 3 options when you read it. Simple. We saw simple interest rate was asked. So there we go. That is a formula that we use with simple interest. Okay, Kevin has $3,500 to invest. That's a startup. That's the start, so that's a P. So $3,500 is going to go in the principal. He wants it to grow to 4,200. What is that? Final. That's not part of this at all. So we're going to have to go final minus start to figure out how much interest was earned. Can I do something like that for you? It's always the final minus the start, the principal. That's how much interest. So what is that, 700? $700 is your interest. In 4 years. So that is the time. And the rate is the thing that we're solving for. So in your calculator, do you understand when I type it? I will need that. I need brackets to say I'm doing 700 divided by that multiplied, okay? You have to have brackets or it's going to be wrong. I'm perfectly okay if you leave it as a decimal answer. I would also be perfectly okay if you answered the rate was 5%. Doesn't matter to me how you're going to answer that one. Okay? Let's pretend somebody typed it wrong, which I did here on purpose, and I got 0.8. Would you then recognize 80% interest rate is ridiculous? Okay, are you going to recognize those kinds of things? I want that investment if it's going to be 80%, but that's a little high. Okay, next question. Reading it through simple, compound, regular payment. Anything that gives it away on which strategy it is? Simple interest again. Okay, so I equals PRT. As soon as I know that strategy, that's where I go. Okay, he has $20,000 that he wants to invest. Principal. Reading, the next thing is, he wants to end up with 35,000. So that is that's my F, that's my final. Okay, so that doesn't work for us. So we're gonna have to actually figure out how much interest do we need then. So 35,000 minus the 20,000. So I need $15,000 of interest. Next is 4.5% rate. So we have to change that to decimal in this formula. If you feel like you're going to make mistakes, just type it in your calculator and divide it by 100 if you are scared about moving the decimal 2 places. How long will it take to the nearest year? So that's the time. Okay, again, you have to type this in properly. You're going to want your calculator to look like this. Okay, that's what you'll want in your calculator. Brackets are a must. Okay, it did say in here just to the nearest year, so I'm going to round that. Okay, again on this test, ask yourself if it makes sense. Does 17 years seem appropriate? That was a lot of interest, so yeah, that does. Ooh, I don't know if we've done one of these. Okay, the bank is offering, boom, simple interest. Got my strategy. We have 1.85, so a decimal for the rate. Four-year. Okay, now what principal would you need to invest? So that's still the letter because I don't know. If I want to end up with 15,000. Ooh, okay, this is a little tricky. How would I write interest? So 15,000 is not the interest, that's the end. What have we been doing here? How do we get the end? Or how do we get the interest again? What were we always doing? Final minus principal. So I'm going to go 15,000 minus principal because I don't know that. Okay. What kind of brain are we? If you're a pre-calcy brain, this is just algebra. You got one variable in there somewhere. Okay? If you're an applied brain, you do a y1, y2 intersection. Okay? You figure out which brain you are. Okay? I don't care. I'm a pre-calcy brain, so I'm going to do that. But I will also do the applied way here. So Okay, so I got that with algebra. So what I did, I times those, so that's where I got that from. And then this is like a minus 1p, so I added a 1p. So that's why that turned into 1.074 and then divided. Okay, I did the applied way. I put, like I said, y1, y2, exactly how I saw it. I did my window pretty crazy because the p variable is the x, which is the principal amount of money. So I knew I would have thousands of dollars to start with. So my x was thousands of dollars. I did 20,000. And my y, I also did 20,000. So when I graphed it, it looked like that. And then the intersection on my graph was the exact same as my math answer. Did you do it a whole nother way? Because this is just a 0.074p. But this isn't 1p, this is 0.074p. Like if you had a half of a p and then added a p, you would have 1.5 p's. But I'm adding the amount of the variable that I have. So if I only have 0.074p plus 1p, now I have 1.074p. Yeah, this isn't 1p. This is 0.074p. Wait. Number 4. So again, every time you read a question, you just say, which of the 3 strategies? Reading, I saw the word simple interest. I equals PRT. You can see that I've lovely done a good job of mixing this up, but on your test it is mixed up. So, so your principal, okay, that's nice, just there for us, 2,000. Rate, change it to a decimal. Three years. Okay, so we're going to figure out first, well, let's just do the interest then. So times, 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 so that one's just a straightforward. I did not ask this, but I could ask something like, how much money do you have at the end? Just make sure you add those if you are asked that. Okay, what is the rate of the return? So there's a few times, I think like 4 times on your test, I asked for rates of return. So how much money did I make? Like as in how much interest or how much did the bank contribute to me? I made that. That was not my own money. How much of my own money did I put in? Okay, so divide that. And when you do that, you need to represent it as a percentage, not the decimal that you get, okay? So make sure to move that. So rate of return is always a what percent return. Okay, number 5. Okay, we're gonna figure out the interest both people made, but if I did not want you to calculate this, who earned the most interest? So if I look at these people, 6,000 is what they both started. They both did it for 6 years. They both did it at 6%. One person did it with simple and one person did it with compound interest. Who is going to earn the most money? The simple person or the compounded person? Compounded. Okay? So you need to understand that concept. Okay? I'm not going to ask you the math on your test, but the idea of comparing people, whoever's doing compound would make more than the simple, as long as obviously the criteria is the same. Okay, but this question does say compare the interest amount. Okay, so we're going to be doing a simple person and a compounded person. I'll give you these formulas on a formula sheet, by the way. Please don't think to memorize them. That's not needed. Okay, 6,000 is the principal. 6% for 6 years. Okay, so I filled in all the info. The compounds are, it's compounded once a year. So it says paid annually, so once a year. Okay, work with your formulas, get me some numbers here. Okay, please make sure that you're typing this so that we all know how to type it in. That's important. If you're not getting your answers when you're typing, come wave me over so I can see why your calculator is not giving you what you want. Okay, I have a problem. Determine the difference in the interest. So here, that's the interest. This is the final, not the interest. Remember, the formulas are two different things. So this one gives interest, this one gives final. So interest is final minus the start. Okay, we were right. The compounded person got more interest. We predicted that. And I think we need to do one more thing because it says determine the difference. So just subtracting those numbers is what you need to do. Okay, number 6. How many compounding periods are there? I want you to read the whole question, and then I'm going to give you the strategy. Okay, how many times does your money get compounded? So, here's what I need to consider. I'm going at this for 10 years, and I'm doing this semi-annually. Okay? Forget the percent, forget the money. I don't care about that. If I do something for 10 years, semi-annually, how many times do I have to do it? 20. That's it.
Why do you give us the other stuff?
Just to trick you. You have to be able to pull out the info that you need, and that's it. Because compounding periods are just the n. That's all the n is. How many times do you do it? Okay, we'll work one more time before your test on those numbers semi-annually, monthly, how many times, weekly, how many times. We'll do that again before our test. Okay, number 7. Pick out the info that's going to tell you simple, compound, regular payments. Simple, compound, regular. Compound. Boom, here's what I need to read. Compounded quarterly. Okay.
Can you do all of these questions basically with this list kind of, or whatever it is?
Your calculator feature thing? You actually can do these ones in there. Yeah. You just have 0 on the payment portion. Yeah. And then when you get to the payments per year, it actually doesn't really matter what you put into that.
Because I did like all my questions yesterday in the review with that.
Yeah, if you like that.
Every single time it was just like
the same.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't matter if you make 12 payments of 0 a year or 2 payments of 0 a year or whatever. Yep, that's what you do in that. Yeah. So if you have been using that, that's fine. Okay, so we said which strategy? Boom, compound. So there's the formula. He has $1,000 right now. Principal. He has $1,000 now. That is half of what he needs. So what does he need at the end? He needs 2,000. I don't know why they use an A in this formula. I should just be putting an F there to say our final, but. Okay, 1 plus, so 0.037 is the rate. Compounded quarterly. Four times a year for how many years? Okay, you are going to get one of these on your tests for sure. Okay, I'm going to put this in Y1 and I'm going to put this into the Y2 because you don't have a strategy in algebra for solving an exponent variable, except for Kaylee. You can do that if you really choose to.
Oh yeah, it's not like because in this one I have this button. Okay, I was just too fractional.
Okay, I'm going to tell you something very important about your calculator. When I did this, my exponent is in brackets. If it's not, it's gonna go bad for you, okay? So when I typed that from my paper, I put 4x in brackets in the exponent, okay? Okay, let's think about what we want our window up to. So window, Y max, I'm already at that $2,000, so why don't we go 3,000? I'm gonna go up to $3,000 and I'm gonna jump by $500 scale. Okay, X is the years. You have to have a prediction. How many years do you think it will take to double your money? So, I don't know. I'm just gonna go like 15, because I don't know, but we're just gonna put that in. If we need to change it, we can. So there, I'm trying to reach $2,000, and then my money is growing, growing, growing. And I didn't do it. 20? 25? I guess it could have been 25 to be safe. Oh, I should have picked better since, this takes forever to... Okay, I got it in my screen. Ooh, now my guess is going to be like 19 years. Okay, calculate intersection, enter, enter, enter. It took 18.8 years. Linnea, did you do it the other way?
I didn't know. I figured I should probably do this one.
You have to divide it by 4.
No, because I had 4 in there. If you had just put an X there instead of a 4X, that's fine. Get your answer, but then you would have to divide by 4. Is that what you did?
It was 19 years for a new savings. Too long.
That's what your savings accounts, when we talk about having a savings account, it's slow going. Okay, I think I can solve this with my thing. Let me try here. 3.7 was the interest. We started with 1,000, but that came out of our pocket. So I'm going to try with a negative 1,000. I wasn't making any payments, and then I wanted to end up with 2,000, and I was compounding 4 times a year. And it did. 18.8 gave me the same answer. So, I don't know. Doesn't matter to me which strategy you like, but the biggest thing when you do this, I'm always thinking about it because it's so tricky, is those negative. Would you always remember to do a negative if it was money that came out of your pocket?
So the payments per year, can it just always be 1? Like,
It can be 1, it could be, look, I'll change it to 50.
and it doesn't matter.
And,
Change your compound number.
oh shoot. Okay, well, yeah, that changed, but, okay, if I change that to 50, what is going on here?
So does it have to be 1?
It shouldn't have to be. Because, yeah, what if you make 50 payments of $0 a year?
It changes it.
But why does it change it? Okay, well, now my answer's, oh, shoot. Yeah, it did change it. Oh, because now, whatever you get, you're going to have to divide. Now you're going to have to divide by 50.
Oh, so it does have to be 1.
If you want,
Because I can't leave it at 0.
no. Yeah, if you leave it in 1, your answer will be in years. Because, so let's say I made this 12. Now the n is answering me how many months it's going to take.
Okay.
So it should still be right if I take this number and divide it by 12 now. So that's what your calculator is doing. Let me just try this. So n, so I'm going to go back to my home screen, apps. I'm going to vars, get the n on my screen, divide by 12, and it did. It's the same answer. So yeah, it will work. Okay. Estimate how long. Ooh, estimate. I've got a strategy already if I read that word. Rule of 72. As soon as you see that, we're estimating how long to double our money. Okay? On that formula, you leave the interest rate as is. You do not change it to decimal. I'm going to change this question though. I'm going to change that to an 8,000 because I'm going to have a harder one on your test than this question. So, how long will it take 1,000 to turn into 8,000? Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a T-chart. At the time of 0, we had $1,000. At the start, we had $1,000. 24 years later, I now have $2,000. 24 years later, so now I'm into this for 48 years, I now have $4,000. If I do another 24 years, so now I've been doing this for 72 years, I will have $8,000. Okay? Do we want to do the actual time? Because that's us just doing this again. Do you want me to do another question exactly the same as this, or we're okay? Extra practice? Okay. So we're trying to turn $1,000 rate compounded monthly. Do you want me to do the 8,000 or the 2,000? 8,000? Okay. So we had guessed it would take 72 years. Okay. I will do, because I like this method, but you can pick your finance app as well. I'm going to probably try it on both. Y1, Y2. Okay, do not forget you have to have that 12x in a bracket in your calculator. Okay, I'm going to think about my window because my Y max, I'm going to put at 9,000 because I know I have to be at 8,000 as my highest, so I'm going to go 9,000. X, well, I already kind of have the answer. It's going to be around 72, so let's just go 100. Hopefully it graphs kind of quickly. So I'm trying to get up to 8,000, and this is my money. My money's growing, 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 growing. Everyone understands compound curves? Intersection. 69.4 years. So, I mean, our estimate was 72. We're pretty close. Okay, I'm going to just try this app, see if I can nail this.
It is 69. And this is 1 times 12.
Yep, so it worked for me as well. On this feature, when I turned my input of 1,000 into 8,000, it worked. Okay, Barbara invests. Barbara invested 7,000 every 6 months. Okay, simple, compound, regular. Regular. Because here's why. I read some kind of money every 6 months, which means it's repeating, regular investments. So boom, that's my strategy. Okay, so do you understand when I read my questions, I say simple, use that formula, compound, use that formula. As soon as I read regular, app. Bless you. Okay, now 7,000 is your payment, but you are doing that out of your pocket. That's money coming out of your pocket. So you should have negative 7,000. You are putting this in every 6 months. How many times a year are you making a payment? Twice a year. Okay, so make sure you're reading that carefully. 4.7, put that in there. Compounded monthly, so 12. for 15 years. So on the n, you're going to need 15 times 2. Because you're doing it twice a year for 15 years. So don't forget, that n is not just the years. No, you have to look at it all. What's the rate of return? Okay, and then I still need to fill in a 0 there because we're starting out with nothing. Okay, so let's type in, let's see what we end up with. Be careful when you type down here, your calculator changes one when you change the other, so you have to make sure that they end up in there right. Are we getting 30,000? No, 301,000. Anybody else match my number? 301? Okay. Okay. That doesn't answer my question though. That's just how much money I'm going to have at the end. So what's the rate of return? Okay, so let's first of all figure out how much money have we, yeah, didn't work out. I'm going to come see what you typed in. What? Why? Why was it doing that? Yeah, I don't know why though. We had everything in there, right? Okay. Just them again and let me know. We'll see what. Okay. How much money have I put into this from my pocket? So we were putting in $7,000 twice a year over 15 years. So that was money that you put in. So you put in a contribution of $210,000. Okay, so how do I figure out the interest? Okay, interest is thinking about, like, really, what did the bank give me out of this? That's your interest part. So I'm going to say the final minus my contribution. Does that make sense why I'm doing that? The end versus what I put in will give me the bank's interest portion. Okay, this is, I'm going to star this and give you a couple winks. This would be a very good question to study for your test, because not only am I looking for this, I'm asking you to understand what are you putting into this. Okay, wink wink, do this question a couple times. Okay, so the rate of return is the money I made. So that 91,000 number is what I made, divided by what I had to put in. Okay? The money I made divided by what I put in. Ooh, 43%, 0.4%. That seems a very high rate of return. Just wait till next unit when we do this in the reverse order. Instead of making the money, we're going to be having debt. And instead of this being the money the bank gave us, it's going to be the money the bank took from us. That's going to be fun.
Is it only one decimal?
Yeah. When you do a rate of return, just do a one decimal place. Okay, number 10. Deposited the same amount of money every 6 months. As soon as I read that line, I already know what I'm doing. I'm doing the app, regular payments. Okay, so like I said on your test, this review I had nicely in order. I kind of put all of our simple and then our compound and then our regular in order. Your test, I got it all mixed up. So you got to read a sentence and say, yep, I'm doing simple. Yep, I'm doing compound. Okay, here we go. Deposited the same amount of money. Every 6 months you're depositing money. So payments per year is 2. Okay, payments per year, I'm going to do that twice. You're doing this for 4.5 years. So the N is 4.5 times 2, twice a year. $2.9 interest. Compounded semi-annually. So that's also a 2. Ended up with 12,000. So that is a future. We're going to put a 0 in the start. How much were we putting in every 6 months? Okay, and you will get a negative in your calculator, but answer me as a positive, right? If I got anybody to match. Okay, so again, highly going to suggest when you're first read it, which 3 strategies am I picking? Then the next time you read it, you say, what number am I placing into what part of my formula spot? Okay, star, star, wink, wink. I would do a question like this a couple times if I was practicing for a test. Okay, Peter is going to start investing when he's 40. He's going to put money in quarterly. So I'm already knowing I'm going to do the regular payment, but you could probably see that because I did that for you. Then when he turns 50, stuff is going to change. So I'm going to break this down. So I'm going to be doing this for the criteria of when he's 40, because then when he turns 50, we're going to have to change the numbers. So from 40 to 50 years old. Okay, he put 500 in, so negative 500. He put it in, payments per year is quarterly. Can I go up to the end? Do you understand that this is going to happen for 10 years times 4? Because I'm doing it from 40 years old to 50 years old. So I'm going to do it for 10 years. Okay. 3.3%. Compounded monthly. Start with 0, see what you end up with. Okay, that's good. We're matching. I got 23,591. Okay, when he turns 50, so now we're at 50, and he's going to retire at 65. So now we're in a new section because the rate changed. He's going to continue this investment. Okay, same criteria, except for 3.8 is now the percent. Payment is still minus 500. Still doing it for 4 times a year, still compounds 12. But everything else we're going to have to change here. Okay, now this chunk of time is 15 years times the 4 times a year. And this is something else I want to do. I want to copy and paste. I want to copy and paste that into there because I'm carrying that forward. My investment is starting at that when I'm continuing on.
Negative?
Yes, and we're going to do it with the negative because that was money that came from me. So that's always the thing. If it's money that comes from you, I mean, kind of not all of it was, but... Okay, do we remember the skills here? We're going to go into that box. We're going to go apps, finance, VARs, and then that was the future value. And then we're putting it into that spot. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I need to put a negative on that. Okay. I'm not sure if you've used this button, but I'm going to go insert. So I'm going to go second delete so that I can put a negative in front of that. Okay, did everyone find that button? Second delete means you can go in and insert something. Okay, and then put the negative in front of it so you don't have to write it all down or anything. Okay, 81,000. Okay, now he retired. So he has this 81,000 and now he's going to start spending. The conditions are going to remain the same, so the 3.8 is still the same. Compounds per year is still going to be 12. Okay, so the 3.8 at compounds of 12, that's still the same. Okay, ready? We're going to take out 1,200 every month. So the payment is going to be a positive because it's not money out of my pocket, it's money into my pocket every month. So that's 12. We're going to start with the negative 81. We're going to have to copy and paste it. And in the future, we want to get to 0. Okay, again, you had to do a copy and paste, and then understand that that's a positive 1,200. So after retirement, he's going to run out of money in 6.4 years.